and the official podcast of the Fleming Film Awards. I am joined as always by my co-host Cody House, and today we are ranking the best film winners of the 80s. Hello, Cody.
Hello, Robbie. Thanks for having me. Thanks for adjusting your schedule for my schedule. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So to give you all a bit of context, we're going to try and do this on Monday nights now, because I think Cody's busy on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
But yes, we are now on the 80s, Cody, the decade you were born in.
Yeah, the decade I was born in, so I didn't see any of these well, actually, I saw one of these in the theater.
I can imagine which one it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to go through the 10 films we're talking about today?
Oh, so the 10 films we'll be talking about, you only matched once with the Oscars on these ones, Robbie, is Raging Bull, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Blade Runner, Scarface, Amadeus, Back to the Future, Aliens, Untouchables, Cinema Paradiso, and The Little Mermaid.
Yes. And one of them I wasn't happy with despite it being a really good film.
Oh, I guess you'll let us know which one that was.
Yes. And you went last time, didn't you? First?
I believe so, yes. I believe that's how, yeah.
Yes, so I will deliver my first pick. And this is kind of irony because my number 10 is by the director of my number one of the last episode. To no fault of its own, it's a good film. It just happens to be my least favorite of these 10. It's a really good sports drama, a more realistic take on boxing compared to Rocky, and it's Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull.
It's a little bit higher on my list, but it's not very high.
Okay, and what would be your bottom?
Well, this was hard, deciding between number 9 and number 10. I mean, all of these are really good movies. So the one I'm going to put at number 10 is no fault of its own. It has nothing to do with the quality of the film. It's an amazing film. It ushered in a new era of quality films for this studio, especially since it had been on a slump for about 20 years as far as box office and some would argue quality, though there are some good and very good movies in that time period. But this ushered in the renaissance for Disney animation, and that's The Little Mermaid. It's just not my personal favorite of that era, but it's still a groundbreaking and amazing film.
That's a tiny bit higher for me,
Okay.
and I'm going to disappoint you with my number 9. Again, amazing film, one of the best sci-fi epics of all time. I just prefer another sci-fi epic in the form of The Thing from this year. But Ridley Scott did an amazing job with Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's absolutely higher on my list. And The Thing is sci-fi horror. This is just straight sci-fi.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. So we already know this is higher on your list. I have a feeling this is going to be much higher on your list because you love this movie way more than I do. It's still an incredibly well-made movie. It's one of this director's most popular films. It's definitely been taken over by hip hop culture and a lot of things, and I think that's probably why I'm putting it at number 9. But it's got an incredible performance by Al Pacino, even though he is nowhere near Cuban. It also kind of ushered in Oliver Stone's career too, because he wrote the screenplay, but it's Brian De Palma's remake of Scarface.
Which is definitely a lot higher.
All right.
But convincingly, my number 8 is the second Del Palma movie on this list. Now, I put it at number 8 because the first time I was a little bit skeptical on it, but the second time watching it, it completely blew me out the way. And even though Sean Connery won the Oscar for this movie, it is Robert De Niro as Al Capone steals the show. It's The Untouchables.
Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. It's also my number 8.
Yes. Yeah. So I know you're a big fan of Brian Del Palma, so I'll let you talk about this one first.
So this was kind of a comeback for Brian De Palma because I believe Body Double was not a huge hit. And I believe I have not seen Wise Guys, but I hear that is not a good film. This is, of course, his first time adapting a TV show. For those that you don't know, The Untouchables was a TV show, even though it's based on real events of Elliot Ness, played by Kevin Costner, forming a FBI strike team to take down gangster Al Capone, who's amazingly played by Robert De Niro. But yes, we get Sean Connery playing. This was kind of a renaissance in Sean Connery's career, even though I think he had already been playing the elder statesman. But this is kind of a big career move for him because he wins the Oscar and then goes on to do a lot of hit movies after this. But it's got so many iconic scenes. It's got an incredible score by Ennio Morricone. But they uh, homage the Battleship Potemkin with that whole shootout scene in City Hall with the baby carriage. And of course, Sean Connery gets to say, "If they send one of ours to the hospital, we send one of theirs to the morgue."
You do his voice better than he does.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought you might have been insulted as an American trying to do a Sean Connery accent.
But yeah, how did he win the Oscar and not De Niro?
I don't even know if De Niro was nominated, though, for that.
He should have got nominated. But Sean
I don't
Connery.
know.
But I think this is one of my favourite performances of Sean Connery. This and Henry's dad. What I will say is they should have written his character to be a Scottish cop, not an Irish cop.
Well, at least it's Irish. I mean, I know there's a big difference, but at least he's not trying to be Russian like he is in Hunt for the Red October. Of course, thankfully, he didn't try a Russian accent.
Yeah. But yeah, I think The Untouchables is a great movie, specifically for like the shootout, the cinematography, the story, and yeah, Kevin Costner leads a good cast of Sean, Robert, and Andy Garcia and Charles
Yeah,
Martin Smith as well. They're all fantastic.
yes, they
This
are.
one, this won the Best Film Award as well as Best Supporting Actor, Best Cast, Best Adapted Screenplay for playwright David Mamet, and
Yeah,
Best
that's
Score
right.
for Ennio.
Yeah, screenplay by David Mamet, who's an incredible writer himself. So, do you prefer Mission Impossible over the two TV adaptations that Diploma's done?
No, think I prefer The Untouchables because it's a bit more stylistic.
Okay. I mean, Mission Impossible is very stylistic, especially the first one.
True, it's just I prefer these kind of crime thrillers.
To an espionage film. I got it. I got it.
Yes. But yes, The Untouchables, 5 Fleming Awards, and all great wins. I know The Last Emperor was the big winner at the Oscars, and that won Best Director. And
Interesting.
and obviously Dirty Dancing won Best Original Song and Best Directorial Debut.
Mm-hmm.
And Best British Film because he produced it by a British film company. It was Full Metal Jacket. I think when we do the British films, I'm going to rank them based on how British they feel.
That makes sense. I guess I'll just rank them on preference because, I'm not
Yeah.
an expert on how British they are, though. Sounds like some of them are not going to feel very British.
What just happened to be made by Brits
Yeah,
or produced by Brits.
exactly.
Yes. So yes, and I'll let you say your number 7.
Okay, our number seven's already been mentioned. It was your number 10. It's what some consider Martin Scorsese's masterpiece, Raging Bull. It's considered one of the biggest Oscar snubs in the history of the Oscars when it lost Best Picture and Best Director to Ordinary People and Robert Redford. It's an incredibly well-made movie. It's beautiful. It's got a great score. Of course, I was this the first time him and Thelma reunited
Yes.
as an editor.
Hmm.
It's him reteaming with Paul Schrader to adapt the screenplay. Of course, this brings Joe Pesci back into acting. Of course, Robert De Niro went on to win an Academy Award for his performance as Jake LaMotta. As
What
great as this movie,
happened to the other girl? Because she's phenomenal.
Kathy Moriarty, this is the big breakout role for her. She was in a lot of things in the 80s and 90s. You ever seen the movie Casper?
The one about the ghost.
Yeah, with Christina Ricci.
Bits of it.
She's in that.
Nice.
She did a few things. But as well made as this movie is and as incredible as it is, the subject matter is, it's not something I want to rewatch. I don't really want to watch a deconstruction of a toxic man.
Yeah. I get you, and I mainly prefer this for the boxing scenes.
But I mean, it's an incredible film, so I certainly understand why it's as praised as it is.
Definitely, definitely. And besides Best Film and Best Director, it won three acting awards. De Niro, Joe, and Kathy won Best Actor, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress. Why
Mm,
didn't those three? Why didn't those two win Oscars? They
let's
should
see,
have won.
1980. Oh, I don't even know
I've
what
not
the
I've not
supporting.
seen Ordinary People, but I know the boy won.
Oh, that's right. Timothy Hutton won supporting actor. Yeah, it's a really good performance. It is kind of strange though that the Academy hardly ever nominates young men, I mean, gives young men awards, but they did
Also,
for that
I've
one.
heard he's technically the co-lead of the movie as well, so he should have been an actor.
He's
So if that
kind of
change was
the
made, maybe Joe could have won.
he kind of is the lead because I mean it's also Donald Pleasance and Mary Tyler Moore are the not Donald Pleasance, Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore are the parents, but yeah, he's kind of the co-lead of the movie, so it's probably because he was an up and comer actor and Oscar politics.
Yeah. But Sissy won for Coal Miner's Daughter, which is one of the best biopic movies.
Oh, totally, totally. Yeah, it's an incredible
And and,
film.
and your mate Brian won original screenplay for Dress to Kill.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, great, great movie, great screenplay.
Yes, and it also won Best Cast, Best Cinematography, and Best Editing.
Oh, of course it did.
Well, that's one of the best things about the movie, the editing.
Hmm.
Yes, and Stanley won adapted screenplay for The Shining. Ordinary People
Despite,
won a best directorial debut film, and the Charlie Brown film, Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown and Don't Come Back, won best animated film. I don't know any other animated films from 1980.
yeah, I don't know very many, but so The Shining one, despite Stephen King's protest.
Yeah, by the looks of things. Never mind. I mean, my pick for best film would have been Empire.
That's an amazing movie.
It sure is. It sure is. But my number 7, we can go back to your number 10. We can go under the sea to talk about The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, this is the one I saw in the movie theaters.
Yes, this was the one I wasn't happy with.
You weren't happy with this winning. I suppose you want to do the right thing to win.
Yes, which I lent Sean the other day, and he wasn't impressed.
Ah, well, okay.
I guess you
Maybe it's
can't
not
please
his cup of tea.
everybody. Yeah, Wasn't his cup of tea. But yeah, I think The Little Mermaid is an interesting Disney film. I watched this as an adult when I first got Disney Plus, because my ex partner wanted to show it me, and I watched the whole movie and she fell asleep.
You watched this for the first time as an adult?
Yes,
Wow. That's wild.
I know, and now it's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, but how do you think it measures up against, say, Beauty and the Beast and the Lion King?
Those two are my two all timers. Nothing beats that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like it's kind of like the Kickstarter, but I feel like Beauty and the Beast and the Lion King are much better films. But
Yeah,
it's got incredible music, and the thing that really signifies else what the Little Mermaid did is, yeah, there was music in Disney movies prior to this, but this is really structured like a Broadway musical where the music actually moves with the plot.
yes. Yes, definitely. And yeah, don't bother watching the 2023 remake.
The Rob Marshall one, okay.
And I normally
Um,
like Rob Marshall, so
but and this is mostly voice actors. There's not really any famous people voicing the characters in this one, except for,
Jodie
I guess,
Benson became famous.
yeah, she's famous for voicing Ariel.
And Barbie in Toy Story too.
Yeah, I mean, I had Buddy Hackett did Scuttle, and of course, the lady who voiced Ursula is the legendary voice actress.
Yes, she's amazing. Yeah, the only one I can think of is the guy that voices Eric, because he's the voice of Peter in the Spider-Man cartoon.
Is that the same guy from the '90s Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I love that show.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yes. But Spike Lee won director and original screenplay, so I'm happy with those.
At least he got those awards.
My favourite Ghibli movie won Best International Film, Kiki's Delivery Service.
That's your favorite one?
Yep.
Okay.
And Little Mermaid won Best Film. Of course, it won Best Animated Film. But Best Voice Acting, Original
Mm-hmm.
Song, and
Which
Score,
song?
Under the Sea.
There you go. That's what
Jodie
won the
won Voice
Oscar too.
Acting.
Do you know that Jeffrey Katzenberg tried to cut Part of Your World out of the movie?
That was one of the best songs.
Exactly. Howard Ashman about nearly had a conniption fit
Oh,
that
no.
they were going to try and cut that from the film because it's like the crux of the movie at that point, right? Like you don't have that song in it, you don't have the emotional arc for
Yes. You'll be happy with the best cinematography winner,
her. Who
In-
won?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh,
I'm happy with
yeah.
that because at the end of that movie, it ends on a really beautiful shot.
Yes, and they should have left the franchise right there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Would
Exactly.
have been a perfect ending.
So perfect ending. And then Temple of Doom could have stayed the weakest one.
I still like Temple of Doom.
It's a good movie. I just can't stand Willie in it.
Yeah, but short round rules.
Oh, Short Round's the best.
Yeah.
They missed out on not hiring him for the last
The
movie.
only problem with Willie is that she comes after Marion. Willie is exactly the character she's supposed to be for what she is. She's a lounge singer in the 1930s. Kate Capshaw's doing a good job with the character she's playing. She's just being compared to Karen Allen, which is an amazing character.
Yes, she is, and we'll be talking about her real soon.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So what's your number 6?
My number 6. It's not really a biop film. I guess it's sort of like historical fiction, you would say, in a
Hmm.
way. But it's a really incredibly well made movie. I love the intrigue. I love the acting. And if you've ever seen Last Action Hero, there's a joke about this movie because F. Murray Abraham shows up in that movie. Of course, he went on to win an Oscar. It's the only movie that matched with the Academy Awards, and that's Milos Forman's Amadeus.
Snap. My number six as well, and I watched it for the first time this year.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I loved it because I
Yeah.
really liked how it was meant to be fictional because it's from the eyes of Salieri, Mozart's the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if it's from Salieri's point of view, and at that time he's going mad, of course he's not going to tell the truth. He's just going to tell what he remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've lent this to Sean, so hopefully he likes this one more than Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, this one might be more up his alley, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But the production design is amazing. It's really
Mm-hmm.
well written and directed.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these two powerhouse leads, and they're just fantastic.
Yeah, and who would have thought the goofy guy from Animal House would pull such a great performance as Mozart?
Exactly. Exactly. So he's in. Oh, yeah, he's in Hunchback of Notre Dame as well. And
Yeah, he's the voice of Quasimodo.
nice. But yeah, there is a. And it's also by Milos Forman, who's a good director.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this was quite a success. It made 90 million over 18 million.
Yes, this is the time, Robbie, when movies that were nominated for Best Picture actually made money.
Wow. So they weren't just prestigious films, you just watched and thought, meh.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably, but I guess people watched the Academy Awards, so people went and checked these movies out because they're like, oh, they're up for Best Picture. I should go see this.
Yes. But yes, and F. Murray Abraham won Best Actor for my awards, and I think he completely steals the show.
Yeah, it's an amazing performance. He's a very gifted actor. He's actually quite hilarious in if you ever decide to get Apple TV, it's called a show called Mythic Quest. It's got one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in it, and F. Murray Abraham
Oh, I've
plays
heard of
like
this one.
he plays like a fantasy sci-fi writer that like the basis of the games are based off of, and he's quite hilarious in it.
Nice. The last thing I saw him in was a film called Things Heard and Seen with Amanda Seyfried and James Norton, and it was all right.
Hmm.
It was all right. And Amadeus also won Best Cast, Best Adapted Screenplay, Production Design, Costuming, Hair and Makeup, and Sound. 8 awards in total.
Awesome.
So yeah, Amadeus was a great watch. And so I'm going to go on to my number 5 now, which I think will be higher in yours. Oh, I should also give this. I should also mention James Cameron won Best Director for the Terminator. So this sets up my next pick because he also won Best Director for this movie too. And this is a great year. It's 1986, and I don't think there's a better movie besides Platoon other than Aliens.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher on my list.
Yes. And your number 5?
My number five is obviously higher on your list. It is the first time watch for me. It was an incredibly beautiful film. I ended up having to watch this kind of in sequences, but it ended up being perfectly structured into three acts. So, like, I watched the first act Thursday night. Then I watched the second act Friday morning, and then I had to take my dog to the vet. And then when I got back from the vet, I watched the third act of the movie. And
Wow.
it's almost 3 hours, but like the way I ended up watching it, it fit perfectly as like good times to stop the movie and come back and like watch the movie again. And that was Cinema Paradiso.
Yes, which is a tiny bit higher for me. But we can talk about your number 9 because my number 4 is, in my opinion, Brian De Palma's masterpiece, Scarface.
Yeah, I mean, you're not alone. A lot of people feel that way about it. I mean, almost the entire hip hop culture thinks this is the greatest movie ever made. I think it's incredibly well done. If Murray Abraham's in this movie, he has an iconic death.
Yes,
Um,
he does. He's great in it too.
I think this is one. Well, Grease 2, I guess, is Michelle Pfeiffer's first big movie, but this came shortly after that. This was a big startup for her. It's one of Al Pacino's most iconic performances. People like to quote this movie constantly.
Yes.
Um, it's probably a remake that a lot of people. I've never seen the original Scarface that was made from the 30s, but yeah, a lot of people would say this is the more interesting version. I feel like even though Diploma, it's got Diploma's direction, I could definitely tell this was written by Oliver Stone because it feels almost more like an Oliver Stone movie to me than a
A little,
Diploma film.
yeah. But Stone would later make a Tarantino movie, so it's all swings and roundabouts.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not doubting Scarface's how well made it is and its legacy. It's just I think Diploma's made a lot more interesting films in my opinion.
I understand. I understand. I mean, I think it's a better movie than Terms of Endearment, and I actually don't mind that movie.
Oh, I love Terms of Endearment. That's a great movie.
Definitely. It is a great movie. And
But I prefer James L. Brooks's follow-up to Terms of Endearment.
that is,
Broadcast News.
I'll have to check that out. I've always
Broadcast News is amazing. It's Holly
um,
Hunter, William Hurt, and Albert Brooks.
and I heard Jack Nicholson has a cameo.
He does have a cameo.
Sweet. But Scarface won Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Cast, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Editing. I'll have
Yeah,
to
I mean,
say, I've not seen the right stuff. I'm assuming it does have a good score, so that's what won. But
uh,
I do love Scarface's score.
I have also not seen the right stuff, but I know that a lot of people really, really love that movie.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And Best British Film went to Monty Python's The Meaning of Life.
maybe not a hot take. I enjoy Meaning of Life, but I think it's the weakest of the Python films.
You've seen the first movie and now for something completely different.
Oh, does that count as a movie? I thought that was just a compilation of sketches from the show.
I've not seen it myself.
I don't think it's considered a movie. That's just, yeah, it's just like the greatest hits from Flying Circus.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. There's some really good bits in there, though.
Nice. I will check that out. And your number 4?
Well, I mean, these last four movies are some of my all-time favorite movies, and some of these are from movies I've loved since I was a child. But number four is the film that came out the year I was born. It's got a great soundtrack. It's one of the only franchises that has not been remade, had a legacy sequel or a prequel, and both the director and writer of this film claim there will not be a remake of this movie as long as they're both alive. And that's Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future.
Which is higher on my list. So what I will do is I'll let you tell me all about your first time experience with my number three, Cinema Paradiso.
Oh, yeah. Well, I gave you a little bit of it already, but yes, I'd never heard of this movie till about 2015, 2016, I think, and some director listed it as one of their four favorites or five favorites on Rotten Tomatoes. And I knew it was about, basically it's about the movies, the power of the movies, but it's the Fablemans before the Fablemans, kind
Yes,
of.
the Fablemans
It's
before the Fablemans.
But I really like the story of, this man. Well, he's a boy, but he becomes a movie director, and then he's just remembering his childhood in his little village, and, him basically getting a father figure out of this projectionist who worked at the theater. But also, I was thinking about it because of the time of the movie came out in the late 80s, and it's kind of like the end of like the movie palaces, especially smaller towns not having movie theaters anymore because this is the dawn of the multiplex, and this is the dawn of, people have cable TV, and they talk about video cassettes, and this is when there's real competition with the movie theater, and small towns can't compete it. So it's kind of a love for that lost uh art of the movie palace, and then just going to see old movies, because movies used to do that, right? They didn't always show newer movies. They would also show movies that had already been out because movies that used to come on
Yeah,
TV. So that's the
and
only way you could see movies.
yes, yes, I'm sure it's a lot different now than it was back in those years ago.
Yeah.
But I am like surprised that this movie isn't as well known, considering that international films has kind of become more in the public eye.
Yeah, I think it'll grow. There's a lot of people that love this movie that talk about it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess because the director isn't as world renowned as a lot of other international filmmakers are, but if you consider yourself a cinephile, you have to watch this movie.
yes, I think that's what I was trying to hint at. Yeah,
I mean, and yeah, it was kind of surprising how well structured it was into three acts. That like each part of it, I was like perfectly fine to stop and then watch it again and pick it back up.
definitely, definitely. And yes, I go into conversation with this on Lisa's podcast. I love that movie, so go on her podcast to see mine and Lisa's chat.
And I think that was her first time watching it, wasn't it?
Yes, that was her first time watching it too. Ah, there, I got two people to watch it. I just need to try Justin next, but you know what Justin's like.
Yeah, I know. If he has Paramount Plus, he can watch it there.
Aha! There's an excuse. It was nominated for Best Foreign Language Movie. He'll watch it if
Was
it's
it nominated? There you go.
it won.
It did?
Yeah, it won, so he'll watch it.
Oh, okay, so it did win the Oscar. Okay.
Yes, it should have got nominated for more. It got loads of BAFTAs. It won Best Actor and Supporting Actor at the BAFTAs.
Interesting.
And at the Flemings, it won exactly 6 awards, and they are Best Film, Best Director for Giuseppe Tornatore. No disrespect to you, Giuseppe, but I don't know your other movies. Giuseppe also got nominated for Original Screenplay, along with cinematography, score by Ennio Morricone and his son, which, oh my god, is one of the best things they've ever done. And obviously, Best International Film. And one of your favourites won Best British Film, A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic fun movie.
And as he should have done, Alan Rickman won Best Supporting Actor for Die Hard, and his Die Hard
Yeah.
brother Jeremy Irons won Best Actor for Dead Ringers.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's nice symmetry there.
Yes. Yes, I love Cinema Paradiso. I think it's great, and I'm glad you enjoyed it on your first time. So hit me with your one.
My number three, I think, was your number five, is some consider it the superior film in the franchise. It certainly is a great sequel. I don't know if it's superior. I think they're both. I think Ridley Scott, Alien, and James Cameron's Aliens are both of the same quality. I think it's just like, which genre do you prefer? Do you prefer the horror film or do you prefer the action film? Because James Cameron's Aliens is the adrenaline roller coaster action film from
Yes.
beginning to end. It's an amazing movie. James Horner's score rules. Sigourney Weaver got an Oscar nomination for this movie. That's insane. That never happens. Um, as so many iconic actors that Cameron worked with a lot. You know, Michael Biehn, Bill Paxton, Lance Hendrickson. I forget the actress's name that plays Vasquez. It's just a lot of fun, and it's just a really cool movie. It's just a cool movie.
Jeanette Goldstein.
Yeah, Jeanette Goldstein, because she's also in T2 and Titanic.
Nice. But yeah, I think this is my favorite of the Alien movies. It's got some really good action, some gorgeous cinematography. James Horner's score, wow. He was a phenomenal.
Do you know how James Cameron pitched this movie?
How did he pitch it?
He wrote Alien on the board and then he put a dollar sign at the end.
Wow.
Aliens.
Wonder how many times he had to watch the first movie.
I don't know because there's some tension there when he was making this film with the British crew.
Yeah, he worked with Adrian Biddle.
hmm
And
They didn't
then
like it. They apparently did not like an American coming in to direct the movie because, Ridley Scott directed the first film.
even
I
even
don't even
though
know.
even though he's Canadian,
Yeah, okay, Canadian, but he made American movies. I don't even know if the Terminator had.
but
I guess the
Canada
Terminator
is
had already
part
come
of
out,
the British Commonwealth.
and then Cameron, of course, didn't like that the crew took tea breaks during the day.
Why is there always trouble when he directs a film?
Because he's a perfectionist.
Yeah, I think
But
Stanley
someone
Kubrick was
else who's a
for him.
perfectionist, but I've never heard anything bad about him.
Who?
David Fincher.
Well, yeah, he has respect of everybody.
But he's a perfectionist. But he's like, I've never heard anyone try to punch David Fincher or yell at David Fincher or talk about how horrible the shoot was with David Fincher.
No, I've not heard any bad thing about David Fincher. He's normally a respected individual. But yeah, going back to the cast, Paul Reiser is a fantastic, slimy
Oh,
guy.
he's a good sleaze bag.
Yeah, he's the perfect villain you need in these movies. You just need a corporate sleazebag.
Yeah, he's a perfect 80s sleaze bag, even though this is set in space in the future.
57 years after the first movie, and I can't wait for the new one coming out.
Alien Romulus, yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm not a huge fan of it Is it Freddie? Is it Freddie Alvarez? Is that his
Uh,
name?
Freddy, yeah.
Fetty. Though I mean, I liked his two movies he's directed.
Uh, Evil Dead and Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
I've not seen his Girl the Dragon Tattoo movie
Oh, that's right. He directed that. I haven't seen that either. I didn't really have interest in it.
because it
I
wasn't.
forget.
Yeah.
It wasn't David Fincher or Rooney Mara, which,
I love Claire Foy.
yeah, she's a phenomenal actress, but, I wanted Fincher to do his trilogy.
Yes, but Aliens won Best Film, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Production Design, Best Stunt Team, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound. And Tom Cruise won Best Actor for Top Gun.
Interesting.
And Robert Richardson won his first cinematography award for Platoon, as he should.
Hmm.
And you're like the Best Original Screenplay winner.
Who was it?
David Lynch of Blue Velvet.
Yeah. Awesome movie.
Oh, it's a great movie, one of his best. And yeah, that is Aliens. Thank you, Cody. And you ready for my number two?
Yeah, let's hear what your number two is.
Okay, so I have a feeling either this will be your number two or this will be your number one. This is a movie me and you go into full detail of. When I did this the first time, it won 13 of the Fleming Awards. It managed to win 10 this time, but I'm sure maybe we'll still have a good chat about it. This is the movie that is just a great action adventure film. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep, Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, also my number two.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible film. It saved Steven Spielberg's career, made Harrison Ford a movie star. Um, they've been trying to replicate this movie for 40 plus years. And yeah, I enjoyed both Temple of the Doom and Last Crusade, but this is the crown achievement of the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yes, definitely it is. And I just love it all from start to finish.
Yeah, it's incredibly well made. It's incredibly paced. It has It has a stakes. There's like it's a real dramatic story with incredible action. I love the rapport between Ford and Allen. I love Jonathan Rhys Davies. The villains are great. There's funny gags in this that work. Like, they're homaging the serials of the 1930s and 40s, but, they made a legendary fictional character.
Yes, all from their heads.
Yeah,
He's
all
not
from
making
their
fun
heads
of it.
that George Lucas came up with
He's just a
and
guy
pitched
George
it
Lucas came up with, pitched it to Steve, and Steve said, "Yep, let's make a movie about him."
all because Steven wanted to do a James Bond film and Albert Broccoli would not let him direct one.
Because what? How come? Like he would have done a
Because
great.
he's American. They hadn't let an American direct a Bond film yet.
He was the first.
Sadly, Cary Fukunawa.
Ah, that guy.
Yeah,
They've
that guy.
they've had a New Zealander before they've had an American.
Yep, they had a New Zealander before they had an American. And then apparently, after Spielberg did Schindler's List, he said, "I'll still do a Bond movie." And Broccoli wrote back to him and said, "I can't afford you now."
Why didn't Spielberg just say, "I'll take the pay cut, and just give me everything"?
I don't know. I guess he didn't need to do a Bond movie anymore. He did three Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, he didn't need to do a fourth.
He didn't. He did that as a favor to George.
Yeah, maybe Honest just wanted to shoot an Indiana Jones film.
He's not the right cinematographer for an Indiana Jones film.
No, he's no Douglas.
Yeah, it needed that look. Like Giannis wasn't the right guy, but I mean, God, is this movie so good? The score, amazing.
Yes.
I mean, what I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's one of the best films, and I'm glad it won the best Fleming award for best picture. Sorry, Chariots of Fire. No shade on you. Just give me my good old American action adventure movie.
Okay, fair enough. My British sports drama won Best British Film and Directorial Debut and Screenplay. So Indiana Jones dominated this year with Best Film, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor. Uh,
Jonathan Rhys Davies?
no, Best Supporting Actress. Sorry,
Oh, I thought you said actor. Okay, yeah.
Miss
Karen Allen, of course.
Sorry. Best Editing, Production Design, Costuming, Stunt Team, Visual Effects, and Sound.
All worthy wins. Karen Allen should have been a movie star after this movie.
Definitely. She's also in that James Norton, Amanda Seyfried movie with F. Murray Abraham.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You'll have to check out Das Boot because that one international film
Yeah,
uh,
I should check that out.
screenplay
That doesn't surprise me that that won Best International Film.
and best actor. The main guy is really good.
Jorgen or Jorgen, how you say
Pro,
his name?
Pros now.
Yeah.
Yes. Apologize to all the German dudes in the group. You guys are awesome. Yes, but Helen Mirren won Best Actress for Excalibur, and it won Best Cinematography, which I thought
I
you
mean,
were happy with.
that's a gorgeous movie. I'm kind of surprised that the Helen Mirren win, but okay.
Yeah, so that's your number two. All right, I'll let you talk your number one, which is your favorite Ridley Scott film, if I remember.
Yes, this is my favorite Ridley Scott film. It's one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. I love this movie. It's a neo-noir set as a sci-fi film. This movie created cyberpunk. Uh, you know, it didn't get the credit it deserved when it came out. You mentioned you prefer John Carpenter's The Thing. These movies came out on the same day, and now and they both flopped
Wait,
because
Thing
they were
Runner
both
did a thing.
Blade Runner and The Thing both came out on the same day. They both flopped because everyone was seeing E.T. and the critics hated these movies. But now both of them are considered masterpieces of their genre. And
Yeah,
the score by Vangelis is amazing. I love the kind of jazzy score that they do for this.
okay. I will say
Rudger,
this: even though Vangelis won the year before for Chariots of Fire and John Williams, one for ET best score. Number one, they should have been swapped around, and two, Vangelis' score for Blade Runner is phenomenal.
yeah, I think Rudger Hauer is amazing in this movie. This is kind of the first film, even though Harrison Ford's still playing an action role. This is kind of the first movie I think people saw him in where he was kind of playing a different type of hero than he would have, or protagonist, than he was as, say, Indiana Jones or Han Solo.
Yes,
Yeah. I just love the look of this movie. I think it's Ridley Scott's masterpiece. I think it was a perfect movie to come off the success of Alien. Uh, I do think the sequel is a slightly better movie, but they're
yes,
both amazing.
yes.
Yeah, I just love this movie. I love the
See,
look of it, the rain, the smoke. Uh, I love Edward James Olmos is over there making origamis. Rest in peace, M. Emmett Walsh. You were great in this movie too.
so who's your favourite lady, Sean, Daryl, or Joanna?
Oh man, I mean, I think it's got to be Daryl Hannah, even though Sean Young gets the majority of the context of the film. But yeah, I think Daryl Hannah kind of steals the show.
She's great. She's great. And James Hong is in this film too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I just can't believe he's 95 and he's still going strong.
Yeah, was just in Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yes, I plan to see it this week.
It's fun. It's not as good as the other three, but I still enjoyed it.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I haven't really seen many bad movies this year.
Well, I haven't seen very many 2024 movies. I've only seen like six.
Yeah, you need to see the Drive Away Dolls.
I know, I know. I want to see that.
It rules.
I want to see Love Lies Bleeding, but like it's only showing like at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night here.
Yeah, my cinema did that with Drive Away Dolls. I had to go to one of the later showings. But yeah, Blade Runner won Best Film, Best Director. No acting awards or cast awards, but it did win a Best Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Production Design, Hair and Makeup, Stunt Team, Visual Effects, and Sound.
Oh, Rutger Hauer wasn't nominated?
I think I nominated him, but R.I.P. Louis Gossett Jr. He was. He was no
Oh,
chance.
Lou Gossett Jr. also won the Oscar that year.
Exactly. Exactly. But Drew Barrymore won Supporting Actress for E.T.
Interesting.
Actor and actress matched the Oscars. It
Ben
also matched
Kingsley,
and Meryl.
who's and Meryl, right, for Sophie's Choice. I have not seen Sophie's Choice or Gandhi.
Well, you should check them out sometime. They both feel. One of them feels like homework. One of them is a bit depressing.
Okay, well, I know which one's which then.
Yes. So now we come to my favourite film, not just of 1980, not just of this group, but my favourite film of the 80s. It's Back to the Future. I mean, granted, there is a little bit of incest in this movie, but the rest of the movie rules.
It's not quite incest, but I know what you mean. It's a little creepy. Have you heard John Mulaney's sketch about how they pitched this movie to the studio?
No, but it sounds like it's going to be hilarious.
It's like, yeah, oh, that sounds cool. They go back in time and travel, and he's with a scientist. Yeah, so how old is the scientist? He's a teenager. They like friends? Is he like his dad or his uncle or brother? No, he's somewhere between 40 and 80. Oh, and there's no relation. No, he just hangs out with this old guy. And they travel back in time, and his mom wants to have sex with him. And they're like, what? Oh, okay. But I mean, the concept of what Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale came up with for this movie was Bob Gale. They both kind of went home and visited, but Bob Gale went and visited his parents. He found like old pictures of his parents from high school, and his pitch was if you went back in time and you went to when your dad was the same age as you were, would you like your dad? Would you think your dad was cool? And Robert Zemeckis is like, well, what if your mom really lied about like how she was when she was younger? What if she did all the same things everybody does when they're that age?
Definitely. And I noticed with the 80s, it was all studio system. And looking at the films, this feels like it was the most studio movie on from this time.
Yeah, this was a huge hit. Also, let's talk about how great Leah Thompson and Crispin Glover are at both playing older versions of themselves and then playing younger selves.
You can say the same about Lloyd.
Yeah, well, I mean, Is he playing a younger version? I mean, he's just Christopher Lloyd, but yes, Christopher Lloyd's amazing as Doc Brown.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Tom Wilson's great as Bill.
yes, Tom Wilson is that's one of the greatest performances ever. Like, and I love what they get to do with him in the sequels too. Like, he's just yeah, he's a lot of fun. This also has a good soundtrack. Huey Lewis and the News.
And Huey Lewis is the judge at the Battle of the Bands,
He's the judge. They're just too loud, even though they're not loud at all.
and they're playing the song he wrote.
Yeah. And then you can't go without talking about Michael J. Fox, who's just amazing. I mean,
He is amazing. He is amazing. I mean, I get this stick that I mean, me, Justin, and another lad called Felipe did a whole chat about the trilogy one time, and we talk about how Marty's arc isn't in this movie; it's spread out throughout the trilogy.
yeah,
Everybody around him changed, but he doesn't.
yeah. In which apparently that was a problem of why Crispin Glover didn't come back because he was very problematic with ad-libbing, and then he didn't like the ending of the movie because he felt like the message was, oh, well, if you have money, you're happy.
Yeah, I kind of see where he's coming from. I never really looked at it like that, but fair enough. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, it's just it is a fun, fantastic, rewatchable movie. The jokes work. It's a lot of fun. It's a great movie to watch growing up. I don't know how people who were already grown-ups when this came out feel about this movie, but I love this movie. I actually love the whole trilogy.
So do I. So do I. So do I. And Back to the Future won Best Film, Best Actor for Michael, Best Cinematography, Best Score. Alan Silvestri's score is amazing. Best
Hmm.
Production Design, Best Visual Effects, and Best Song for The Power of Love.
There you go. Wow.
Yes, Best British Film was A Room Review, which is that movie we said we were going to watch and never got around to talking about it.
I watched it. I liked it.
Good. And you'll be happy with the original screenplay winner, as it was Brazil.
Oh, I love that movie. Was
Which is
that
what it is.
nominated for Best British Film?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's a British film, right?
Yeah, it's a British film. It's set in Britain. It's got British actors in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Whoopi and Danny won actress and supporting actor for The Colour Purple, and
Hmm.
legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa won for Ran, which is an amazing movie.
He
One
won
best
Best Director?
and editing.
Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful film. It's gorgeous.
Yes, yes. So let's go through them one last time. My number 10 is Raging Bull.
My number 10's The Little Mermaid.
My number 9 is Blade Runner.
My number 9 is Scarface.
We matched on number 8 with The Untouchables.
Mm-hmm.
And your number 7 was?
Raging Bull.
My number 7 was The Little Mermaid.
We matched again on number 6 with Amadeus.
We did. And my number 5 was Aliens.
My number 5 was Cinema Paradiso.
My number 4 was Scarface.
My number 4 was Back to the Future.
My number 3 was Cinema Paradiso.
My number 3 was Aliens.
We matched number 2 with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And my number 1 was Blade Runner.
My number 1 was Back to the Future. And let's look at these. Because of the 80s studio system being the driving force of 80s cinema, was there still Arthur movies around?
Well, look, you got Scorsese, you got Spielberg, you got Diploma, you got Cameron. I would even say Zemeckis is an auteur.
His own
Um,
stuff, yes.
and Ridley Scott to a certain degree, especially this early on in his career in '82. You could argue maybe he's not so much anymore because he kind of goes back and forth between passion projects and sometimes it feels like some of the movies he does is for the money or for a job.
And to be fair, we have a international film and an animated film.
We
Sadly, there
do.
aren't many movies directed by women at this point. There probably was out there, but
Well, yeah, because Penny Marshall's making movies in the '80s. Catherine Bigelow's making movies in the '80s. Jane Campion's first film comes out in '89.
yeah, I believe
So,
there's been women directors throughout history anyway.
oh yeah, there is. There's actually a lot of them in the early days of Hollywood. And
Yeah,
then, so there was independent cinema in the '80s. It's just none of the winners here are represented by it. But
yeah.
because these,
'Cause
most of these,
one of my favorite film in 1984 was Paris, Texas. So that would have probably fitted in there quite well for the indie film.
yeah, which I think that won the Cannes film that year.
Yeah, it did. But yeah, the only studio based movie that feels like it was a studio driven movie was Back to the Future.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, Aliens is a sequel. Um, Untouchables is based off a TV show. Scarface was a remake. Raiders of the Lost Ark was based off the success of Star Wars, so that's probably why that got
Amadeus was a
greenlit.
play.
And Blade Runner was done by Warner Brothers, so I mean, and then Disney's a juggernaut, so
Yeah. 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 They're both based on books.
hmm
Yeah, only one, two. Yeah, only two movies are three movies are technically original.
Raiders, Back to the Future, and Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah, all of these are either all the rest are either based on books, plays, or remakes or sequels.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that this is a great selection of 80s cinema to represent the best of.
Yeah, you got a little bit of everything. You got the blockbusters, you've got a couple of art house movies or prestigious movies. You got a animated film, and then you've got just right down the middle adult entertainment as far as like Scarface and Untouchables.
And Aliens and Blade Runner.
Yeah, oddly, Aliens, even though it's a rated R movie, was they like did a whole toy line for this. The '80s was weird.
Sounds weird. Sounds weird. And yeah, so that is the 80s best film winners. If you are watching this, let us know how you'd rank these films in the comment below. Also, give us a like and subscribe. And next week, we'll be doing the 70s best film winners. And
Yeah.
that'll be the last because we've already done the 60s and 50s before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, that's true. We did those already.
And I believe the only film you will need to see is Pattern.
I think so. Is the winners French Connection, Godfather, Exorcist, Godfather 2, One
Uh,
Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Taxi
uh,
Driver, Star Wars, Deer Hunter, and Apocalypse Now?
Clockwork Orange.
Oh, Clockwork Orange. I don't know why I was thinking French Connect. Well, I've seen the Clockwork Orange.
And
Okay,
the
it's
Taxi
Clockwork.
Driver Network one.
Network one. Okay. Also seen that one. Network. So
Yes.
it's Clockwork Orange and Network. Okay.
Yes. I'm assuming you've seen the others.
Yeah, all those I've seen except for Patton.
Sweet. Sweet. So yeah, Pattern isn't as good as Cinema Paradiso, so you might struggle with that one a bit.
And it's also probably longer too, I think. Or
Yeah, I
just
think that.
as long.
Yeah, I think it is just as long, but George C. Scott is the heart and soul of the movie.
Well, he did win an Oscar, which he did not show up to win.
At least he wasn't. At least he wasn't like Brando about it.
Nope, he's just like, I don't have any interest in going. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll just accept the award on his behalf. Bye bye.
Yep.
That's basically the end of the 2020 Oscars.
Yeah. 2020 Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what they were thinking.
Anthony won, but we accept on his behalf. He's not here. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Yeah, an 85-year-old man did not travel during a pandemic to get an Oscar he didn't think he was getting.
Yeah. Wakes up next morning. Oh, Anthony, you won an Oscar. What?
Again? Cool.
Again? Cool. Cool. I'll just do a live video and then that's it.
Yep, that's what he did.
But yeah, I think. But yeah, thank you for coming on and talking to me about these 10 great movies. I think they do round up the 80s. Like I said, I would replace The Little Mermaid with Do the Right Thing, but it's democracy. I can't just let Do the Right Thing win because I'm not happy with The Little Mermaid winning.
Strange. I would have also preferred Do the Right Thing to win over The Little Mermaid, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Right. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's been an
Of
absolute
course.
pleasure. And I'll see you next week to talk the 70s best film
Yeah.
winners. I'm Robbie
Right back
Fleming,
at you.
and we will see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye, Cody.
Bye. Bye, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure.
Same here.